my name is Kathy. So sorry. Just repeat one more time. Whoever comes in the Facebook live stream by 3 p.m. will be entitled one book from me, and that is my latest book, SG56. It will be given after my book being published after 16th of September. So just drop your Facebook name, which country you're from, and then I'll come back to you in the next 1-2 weeks. Thank you for your kind understanding. Appreciate. Okay, actually we wanted to do icebreaker, but because icebreaker very long already. Icebreaker 没有了。Anyway, okay, let's 我们下去第二项 ，OK， 感恩就是说，这个我会用华语跟英语交谈，看得到我吗？嗨，看得到。OK， 就是第一就是说我们我是写这本书的作者，看得到吗 ？OK， 我写这本书是要分享看护者的辛苦，因为我被那个陈慧文的太太感动了。所以这本书是我上次2017年写作的，所以现在我在2018年出了这本黄书，第一本是英文的，因为我是假干当完，所以是13万。OK， 这个是2017年，这本是2018年。OK， 现在我不要浪费我的时间，现在我要请陈慧文夫妇，尤其是陈慧文大哥来分享他的给我们一点介绍。刚刚我们介绍很多，所以我们可以现在我尽量的话就是说这个时候我就说叫陈慧文大哥跟我们要分享一点他的那个这6年的来龙去脉，一点分析啦。反正这 video 里面看不到的，就是这样。OK，let's give。给我们一点brother 一点 virtual clap 吧，掌声鼓励鼓励，谢谢。OK， 喂。Thank you. Okay, so brother 慧文 what I must turn this thing here. Okay. 谢谢。OK， 好。
Hello， 大家好，我是慧文。我是因为吃鱼生，然后得了那个
B 型肝炎，不是 B 型那个 GBS 对不对？
后来我是因为这样子做就必须要截肢了。现在我已经恢复得很好了，我现在已经开始有做工，然后还有去做义工。然后今天我又来参与Kathy的新书分享会。OK， 所以今天我要特别介绍Kathy了。我所认识的Kathy是，我跟他不是说太熟了，我们大概是2017年认识的吧。因为大家都是基督徒，所以偶尔都会坐在这里谈谈天这样子。都会知道的，对，我所知道的Kathy是一个很虔诚的基督徒，他最重要是因为他很有爱心这个是我要比较强调的。当时我认识他的时候，我们有互相交谈，他看到我的情况，然后他其实是给我那个blessing那个祝福的那个钱，那个钱虽然不是太少，也不是太多了，但是是4位的4位数。我有曾经告诉他，我告诉说，不可以把这个祝福转让给其他的那些比较需要的人？他其实也赞成了。后来我就把那个钱就转去给肌肉萎缩症的一群朋友他们也是教会的。然后很开心今年我在接到 Kathy 的电话，他告诉我他要加倍祝福，是乘以5倍的，所以我太感动了。因为这个人为什么会这么有爱心？5倍4个机器，然后变成5倍， 说那个现在在我这边的那个钱，所以他是要我说，如果遇到好像之前那一批的肌肉萎缩症或者其他还有那些需要帮助的人，就接济他们。然后他还交代我不要说是他飞出来的，非常感恩，谢谢 Katie，and over to you again。
哎呦，这样我讲 ，OK，how do I explain？OK，basically 啊，谢谢你。Basically, Mr. Tan shares, how to say, okay, Mr. Tan shared that I have a heart for charity. By the way, my youngest daughter is actually charity. So technically, I'm the mother of charity. So no need to say already, because at the end of the day, I have only three things in life: is to give hope to the hopeless, help to the helpless, and joy to the joyless. So that is about me. So anybody on live stream now that you all have burning question for Mr. and Mrs. Tan, particular Mr. Tan, and if not, then I'll start off the first question to Mr. Tan. Okay, that is, let me see my mirror on the wall. Okay, this is okay. Brother, 你要什么 color 的颜色？红色，只要红色 ，orange or blue， 哪个颜色你就可以选
Orange。
orange， 我别啊 ，OK， 你自己可以读出来吗？谢谢你。
假如今天是你在世界的最后一天，你会怎样利用这宝贵的24小时？
我可以用英文一下先啊。If you were left with 24 hours on planet Earth, how are you going to use this time before you meet your maker face to face?
我只有一个选择，我只要用这个24小时全部跟我的太太在一起了，因为她是我唯一值得我花这个时间的人。
OK， 再继续。
这个
OK，sorry，
不要继续了。
不要继续好了。老婆有没有感动啊，老婆？
不要传水嘛。
不要传水啊。Okay, Mr. Tan said if he left with 24 hours of his life on planet Earth before he sees the maker face to face, eyeball to eyeball, his thinking is he want to spend 24 hours with the woman of his life for the last 21 years. I think that is how a man as raw as Mr. Tan can turn a very real man. That's why my book, From Raw Meal to Real Deal. So I have two real and raw men here. One question, not enough, Ray. Can I ask you one more question? 再问第二个问题。OK， 等一下哈。鼓励掌声啊！鼓励掌声 first。这个很难的问题哦。OK， 蓝色跟红色，哪一个你要选？红色，哇 ，OK， 红色。安国海啦 ，OK， 来看。
你最大的收获是什么
？OK，what， Mr. Tan, what are your key takeaways through this raw fish episode？
很感恩啊，因为这一次的意外，所以我认识耶稣，所以我非常的我可以说开心啊，是可以感恩的，有这种特别的经验。如果没有认识耶稣，我看今天不会在这边了。
还有没有东西要加进去的吗？
我就鼓励大家，如果还没有信耶稣的人要快点来找我。
OK， 你看，OK， Mr. Tan feels that one of his key takeaways through this rockfish incident is to know our Savior Jesus Christ, His Maker. So Mr. Tan's desire is so that anybody who wants to truly experience the love of God through Jesus Christ can reach out to Him and hear Him out. How did God come into His darkness of the rockfish saga, and turn him around, especially in the area of how to turn him from setback to comeback. The setback is very real. It's what we call Weiji. After the setback, he come back to know his personhood, his purposeful living, and more importantly, is that he sees a way that he can be used by God in ways that he will never ever think of if he doesn't know that there is a purpose in his life. And God has a purpose, even though he is now without limbs, because he knows that he can give encouragement to people far and near.
Amen.
Okay, very good. So now another question. Anybody from the floor? Anybody on the floor? Okay, my friends from Indonesia. Which are the people that is from various countries? I should have people from here actually. I should have people from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, India, Hong Kong, Australia, and Pakistan. At least these countries. Anybody got burning question? So burning that you don't ask tonight, you cannot sleep one. Okay, 我这些朋友啊，新加坡的同胞也是马来西亚、印尼、泰国、越南、印度、香港、澳洲，还有巴基斯坦。所以这些朋友，如果其中你们有什么问题问，有问必答啦。这个时候是 AMA，Ask me anything， 就是有问必答。所以有没有什么问题？不然的话，我就要给 Mr. Dan 一个很挑战的问题，因为 Mr. Dan 呢，我给他问题太容易了，好像我要给他那种挑战性的，不然我今天也是不会睡觉。Any question？ 谢谢你啊。Mr. Dan 很好，帮我拿来拿去啊，谢谢你啊。有没有 question？ 没有 question， 现在要我马来西亚不要紧，没有办法 ，Mr. Dan， 我真的要问你最后一个问题了。哇，这个很重要，这个很重要。OK，Mr. Dan， 你可以OK， 这个就是最后一件问题，这个我写的哈，这个好像是PhD 的，如果会 answer 的全部一定是 skill future 不用去了100%。OK，Mr. Dan， 这个是最后一个，也是关键性很难搞定的问题。OK， 吃鱼生的事故，一转眼已经有6年了。您对这项生命的一大挑战有何感触？这是在家庭、在朋友、在信仰。刚才你讲到朋友，家庭讲到信仰，你可以讲有关你的朋友吗
？OK， 其实因为这件事情我其实遇到很多朋友离我而去了，我也不懂是为什么，但是很庆幸的就是。其实新的朋友比离去的更多。打个比方，我可能是失去了3个好朋友，但是我认识了300个很关心我的好朋友。就是对朋友的。
OK， 我想问你啊，你这300个是从哪里来的300个？为什么我算不出来？
太多了，有些甚至我都不懂他们的名字，但是他们都把我当成是他的好朋友。
哇，从3个变成300个啊！失去3个变成300个，这个怎样算啊？用什么叫什么 calculator 算啊？
这个是上帝的祝福。
Okay, translation Mr. Dan feels that as his friends, even though some of the friends left him, like 3 friends who left him, but yet he found 300 other friends. So from 3 to 300, I don't mind drop 300, 3 person or 300. Mr. Dan don't know how it's been calculated. I think he must have people who stand by him, 300 people who are inspired by him, who feels that it must be something about Mr. Dan that they want to be part of him, whether support him, whether learn from him, or whether be inspired by him. And some of them even want to help him wherever possible to, as they help Mr. Dan, they also been helped because they know that they have helped somebody special. So this is what we call 我的 Bible 叫做施以比受更为有福。It's always give, it's more blessed to give than to receive， 对不对？Mr. Dan 有什么东西还要讲的吗？讲完了哇 ，very good。OK， 现在我的先生在等等到心痛，所以我们可以他等了很久了As a result， 有没有？Can we turn to the next one? The video of Mr. and Mrs. Sim。Mr. 我的老公现在在想，到底发生什么事情 ？OK， 不要紧，你们听得到不要紧，所以有时听不到也是一种福分。对啦 ，OK， 我们 now video。 Okay. Okay, this is my husband. Everybody know him by now. Mr. Sim Tan Chun, the man of my life for 26 years. Okay, I come. Yeah. Yeah. Just a quick story of me and Mr. Sim for the fun of it. My sister picked two name cards next to the rubbish bin. One of the name cards is Mr. Sim Tan Chun. Mr. Sim Tan Chun wanted more. I wanted to sell life insurance to him. I was an insurance agent. He wanted to have a better value. He find that I'm a star, his star catch. So as I want to sell policy to him, I'm so convincing as an insurance agent, he decided that he should buy a policy and have a wife free. As the result, he made the best deal ever. One of the greatest blessings that he ever had, other than the frustrations and the fireworks and what have you, is to choose to marry the woman of his life for the last 26 years. Agree, Mr. Sim? Do you agree?
Yeah, I have to agree. Yes, I agree completely. And I thank God that she has become my wife through all these years. Yeah, and it is a great learning curve and continuing journey to discover each other more and more. The days before I become deaf, and now that I'm deaf, it is another discovering of ourselves being together.
Okay, thank you for your contribution. And let me speak in Chinese. Okay, 好久以前，28年前，OK， 我在偶然之下，我的妹妹在那个垃圾桶的旁边拾到两张名片，其中一张就是沈潭村的名片，不知道为什么人家把他的名片丢进垃圾桶，也没有进去，里面就掉在地上，结果给我的妹妹看到了。我想卖沈潭村一份保险，但是沈潭村的头脑比我还要精，因为那时候我才21岁，结果他卖了他的终身保险给我，结果呢就是买一份保险，老婆是 free 的，她最喜欢就是这种优惠去哪里找这种配套去哪里找，就是碰到了这种老婆，结果一转眼就娶了我26年了。所以他的最大的幸福、最大的福分，就是认识我，除了主耶稣基督，对不对？因为他已经 blur 了 ，OK， 因为失聪所以那个 video 可以登 on 的吗 ？OK， 我们现在登 on 那个 video 给你们看一下我老公失聪过后的那个经历。
at one time when we were having discussion, I say, children, do not use your phone.
Okay, now I'm going to go bully Mr. Sin Tan Chun legally and officially. Okay, I want to bully you. Can you read now? I want to bully you. Okay, good. Okay, you see, want to bully you also must tell you. Okay, which color do you want? Red, orange, or blue?
Which color? I think the blue color or the red color. Okay.
Okay, question. Chinese 是讲你最大的收获是什么 ？English is what are your key takeaways through this raw fish incident? Okay.
Okay. So the question that I'm supposed to answer is what are the key takeaways through this raw fish incident? Okay, I think one of the key things that it reminded me was when I remember when I went to this course training with Kat when we were just married. It was called Awareness Before Change. And I will use this in terms of what today's topic is. Today's topic is about setback, comeback. So I will use it as awareness before comeback. I think it is very important that when something unfortunate, especially when something unfortunate happens, we must become aware of ourselves, what we have become, and what are the resources available for us. So in my situation, I know that I had become deaf. And frankly, it took me quite a while to really acknowledge that I will be deaf. Because in the initial stage of about 6 months or to 1 year or so, I believe that I could be healed because of the advancement of today's medical expertise and technology. But obviously, after 6 months and then the time went to 1 year, I realized that my hearing was not becoming any better. So then that is the key thing about awareness, to be aware of what my situation has become and then how to address the situation. The second part of awareness is, of course, resources. And one of the key resources is always about friends and families, the loved ones surrounding us. They can be very, very helpful as a pillar to myself, especially because when I was recovering, some of these friends and family members have really, really comforted me. At that point in time, one of my key concerns was finance, because I have 3 schooling children. So it weighed down upon me about how, if I'm not able to work, how about the finance? Because at that point in time, I was the key breadwinner. And then Catherine, my wife, decided not to continue to work so that she could really take care of me. So that was my primary concern. And friends, knowing my such situation, comes and help us along in small ways or whatever ways they can. And it is not just monetary support, but it was also the emotion and mental support that they come and encourage me, get me out of my house and do some exercises and so forth. So I think that is very key thing for us to be aware also of for myself, is because I have some very good friends still and family members to care and do that. The third resources is of course my wife. Yeah. She is actually very strong-willed and very resilient. I think if it is not for her, probably even though I'm still alive, I will probably be lying on the bed or doing nothing much. But because of her, she encouraged me. She used the book writing to encourage me to do something and help her to do basic proofreading and basic and simple editing. So that get me out of thinking of my problem and then focus on doing something. And she, in that sense, had been a very strong advocate for me to want to continue living a purposeful life. And finally, the final resource that I have, and I thank God, and that is God Himself. Because ultimately, when everything fails, I think God is the one that never fails. And for me, in this case, I think I find certain strength in God. Because of Him, I have seen that the loss of my hearing is, whether it is by Him or not. Some people say that, yeah, it is your God and all these things, right? So I continue to believe in such a God. But I believe God has an ultimate purpose and intention. Whatever it is, I may not have discovered it now, but hopefully over time, I will see it clearer and better. And through these incidents, maybe I have not been close to God, but through these incidents, I find that I have more time to read the Bible, and through reading the Bible, I start to discover God more and more. So basically, come to the point about key takeaway. I think the key takeaway again is about being aware of myself, aware of my circumstances, and aware of the people around me. But the key important most is to be aware that there is someone that is strong and powerful to help me along. Yeah, thanks.
OK，先讲没有用。OK， 感恩。现在我要用华语交谈，就是说他的一生中最大的福分就是除了主耶稣，就是认识我，对不对？顶然后就是说他跟我很久以前去了一个training 一个workshop 那个 workshop 是我们叫 ABC， 刚才查罗蒂ABC Awareness Before Change。你要改变你自己的时候，你要知道你到底是什么，你要知道你自己，才知道怎样改变。所以那个 ABC 的那个 course 很重要。也许我明年会出这个安排这个 course 这个课程出来。我先生讲就是说，到头来因为家庭，因为朋友，因为主耶稣的那个同在最重要就是说他看到的希望就是说，上帝有时把朋友带到他的旁边，给他鼓励，但偏偏的娶我这种老婆呀也是OK， 偏偏的娶到我这种老婆好像是 Walking Bible， 人家问我这个圣经这里怎样，我变成了他的走来走去的圣经结果他如果没有听上帝的话语，他听到老婆一直讲话他就很厉害了，他就听到也是头痛。曾几何时，他突然醒过来，他就讲说：“老婆，我要跟你讲一个我新的发现。”我说：“什么发现？”我觉得你很会讲话。我说：“废话，我已经讲话这么多年，24年了，做保险。”他说：“不是只有讲话，你真的会讲话。”我说：“废话，当然是我会讲话啦。”他说：“我从来没有碰到一个女人这样会讲话。”这就是他的太太，姓周的，对不对 ？OK，cannot see never mind。OK，good。一个问题我老公好像给我那 PhD 的嘞。 我不用问你了。Okay, I cannot ask him already one question, finish everything. So now I go back to Q&A. 我回去啊 ，ask me anything， 有话要有问必答，给 Mr. 陈慧文先生给我回答3个问题，其中的问题我要问的就是这个是从谁莎莎安，他问这个问题就是说陈先生你怎样安排你的时间，还有你做什么义工，所以我把时间分到Mr. 丹那边给他这个回答这个问题，你怎样安排你的时间，还有你做什么义工，可以分享一下。
嗨，莎莎哈，
莎
莎回答你这个问题，就是说我现在是一个part-time 的 model，BIM model，BIM 就是AutoCAD 的那个 upgrade version， 就是用电脑画图的嘛。所以我这里在2019年的时候上了4个月这个课程，在 SG 美国那边上了4个月课程，然后毕业之后，我的那个 instructor 就把我介绍给现在的雇主。我已经做了1年了，我是做 part time 就是1个礼拜做3天。之所以选择做 part time， 是因为我很担心我的身体状况，如果我长久坐在那个椅子上可能会有那些big sore 之类的那些毛病跑出来，所以我选择做3天。然后星期4跟星期5呢，我就留做给那些好像 medical appointment 或者是做义工。等到义工，我就是做那个 befriender， 我是截肢的嘛。说如果有新的病人，他们遇到同样的状况，就比如说需要截肢之后，他们需要做什么东西？因为之前我截肢之后，我也是有befriender来找我，他们给我的建议是说，你要想开一点，要积极一点。但是我觉得很空洞想开跟积极是什么意思？所以现在我是befriender之后，我会告诉他们，你可以怎么做，然后我会做给他们看，我会告诉他们应该要怎么做，而且我会跟他们说我做了什么东西，做了什么运动，做什么工，之类的，希望能够回答到你的问题来一下。莎莎
，OK， 我帮陈大哥翻译一下，就是说等他拜1到拜3他会工作，sorry 讲1年 ，sorry Monday to Wednesday he does modeling via using computer for CAD something to do with computer design model, and Thursday to Friday Saturday 吗？
对对。
Okay, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, he does befriender. One of the things that he realized as a befriender is that he actually befriend people who may face amputation of their limbs. That he can be an encouragement to them and to tell them that it's not the end of the world. There's hope as long as there's life. So that is his answer to Sasha Ang's question. So next question, and let me say in English first. The next question from Ethan Lodak-Likian. Can anyone ever prepare themselves for what to expect from life? What are the support that we can be thankfully for? Translation: 我们有没有可能能预备我们一生中所碰到的那些挑战，突如其来的挑战，人有什么援助？我们可以找怎样，好像援助机构的援助、朋友的援助还是什么所以Mr. Dan他问你这个问题，说你可以回答一下。
Mr. Low 呀。首先我觉得以我自己的经历呢，首先如果好像我从一个正常的人变成了一个体障的人呢，首先必须先承认自己已经是个体障的人。然后，如果身边或者是政府机构，他们愿意帮助你、带领你去走出这个困境，或者给予你什么金钱上的那些赞助或者资助了，我觉得接受会比较好。 因为我所知道有很多人啊，他会觉得不好意思这样子，觉得可能没有面子吧。但是我觉得这些都是不重要的，最重要我们要怎么样活下去嘛，对不对？如果你真的是需要人家愿意赞助，你就接受赞助就好了，也没有什么不对的事情啊。
Hi, my translation of Mr. Tan. Okay, Mr. Tan shared that the key to healing is to accept your disability. You have to face the fact and the reality that you have been disabled. So when there's financial support that comes along, any form of support that comes along, we have to give up our ego. And then the key thing is not ego is expensive for most of us, but ego, we have to give up ego and choose to live because we have family who love us, and we have friends who support us. And that is the most important thing, coming to terms with the loss. In this case, is the loss of the 4 limbs. Okay, this is the second question. Let me end with the last one. Okay, English, that's from Esther Pham. Esther Pham said, okay, very cheap question. How do we use Mr. Tan's testimony to share many in depression, in stress due to finance? OK， 华语就是说，我们怎么用陈先生的那个分享来帮助那些有忧郁症的、有那些压力跟财政有压力的情况，我们怎样用陈先生的那个分享来鼓励这些人？
我觉得忧郁症他们本身自己很难走出那个困境，我觉得需要他身边的朋友、亲戚或朋友，把他带去教会吧。如果他还不是基督徒的话，就找一个是基督徒的朋友吧。我觉得教会里面有办法要常常祷告，然后有办法把他们带出那个depression 那个环境了，对，所以
那钱财方面呢？报告钱财方面。
你只要有办法去到教会哈，我觉得就有地方走出去，然后会有那些很奇妙的那些那个叫什么那个恩典就会降临的。
Okay, Mr. Tan's sharing is that from his experience, after he has the loss of the 4 limbs, he actually for a short while, because he doesn't see the meaning of losing his limbs, he actually went into some form of depression. And he found that for his own personal, that one way that he got out of the depression quite fast is because he stepped into the church. A friend encouraged him, and then he see a purpose behind the loss. And then he find that if he were to counsel another person suffering from depression, he will encourage the person to go to church to find about the purpose of the life, and also to pray of a group of people to encourage the depressed person. And concerning money, and churches does support financially. The only thing we need is to make sure that throw away the face just when you need financial help, ask, because it's not easy to get out of depression. Somebody must walk a journey with you, and the person must have patience with you, and they must show you the words that come alive from the Bible, that it becomes very real to the person. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot of time to get out of depression, but far more is it takes a lot of support, a lot of encouragement, and the living word of God to impact the person. That the person, by the grace of God, by the mercy of God, that they are able to walk out and be a blessing to others. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Tan, for answering such challenging questions all this time. All these 3 are my friends. Okay, thank you. So, 谢谢 Mr. Tan. 鼓励掌声呢。Okay, thank you. So next, yes, question finished. Any other question for Mr. Sim? If not, I ask him one more question before I move. One question for you. Okay, I need to ask Mr. Sim because the husband must ask. 谢谢你。Okay, the next question, Mr. Sim. Okay, I don't want to give you team one. After that, you tell me 10-year series, then model answer. Okay. The next question is, yes, I need to ask you this question. This one hot topic. Okay, Mr. Sim, if you were left with 24 hours on planet Earth, how are you going to use this time before you make your maker face to face, eyeball to eyeball? Let me ask in Mandarin. 沈先生，假如今天是你在世界上的最后一夜，你会怎样利用这个宝贵的24小时？请你回答。1、2、3。
Okay, so if I had only 24 hours left, and then I will see God Himself. What would I do? So I guess it depends, right? If today you tell me I have only 24 hours before I go to see my maker, then I will really, really beg, appeal, pray to God, whatever I can, to ask Him to extend my life for another 24 years. Because now I'm only less than 60 years old, yeah. And one of my dreams still is to be able to ride on the BRI, the Belt and Road system that is initiated by China to connect as down south as Singapore all the way into Europe. And there are still a few other things that I have not done. And that include one of the things is to see my grandchild or grandchildren. I think that is another phase of life I want to go into, grandparenting or grandparenthood. And of course, there's a bit other things, right? So yes, if God I have only 24 hours, as in today, I really will pray to God and ask Him to really extend my life. But on the other hand, if I'm already 80 years old or so, and then I know that I have only 24 hours left, the first thing I will probably say is thank God, for allowing me to stay on earth for so long, to appreciate the different facets of life, from being young and a bit ignorant, and then living to a ripe old age of 80 plus and beyond. And then, of course, then I would really gather along my family members, my loved ones together, and try to relive some of the good old times. And hopefully, God has left a few scars for me to remember Him as well, so that I can share those moments. And the other thing is that I love durian. So if I have to go in 24 hours, I hope it is durian season so that I can eat good durians during those times. Yeah, thanks.
Good.
Hi. Oh dear. Okay, just a quick one. Okay, no worries. Okay, just a quick one. This question, why you answer so long for what? Okay, never mind. Okay, Mr. Sim, you see, Mr. Sim is a salesman. Give him 24 hours, he asked for 24 years. No wonder he married me lah. Okay, first thing first. OK， 上帝给他24小时，他会跟上帝讨价还价，说可以给我24年嘛？24年做什么？24年做很多东西，他没有讲到跟老婆做什么东西啊？第一，他说他要跟着什么丝绸之路，是不是 Belt and Road Initiative？ 他要做公共，我不要，你要做公共，你要叫我们的女儿赶快结婚，大的 Jack Harris。赶快结婚，所以你可以 you can become grandfather. Before your grandfather, become a father-in-law first. Become a father-in-law. Then 2 years later, become grandfather. You got hope. By 60 years old, you should be able to become a grandfather. And then Mr. Sim said if he ever God give him 80 years of age for 24 hours, he will be very thankful that God gave him a journey of 80 years and he's willing to just see the maker. And something about durian, I didn't catch now. Mr. Sim have a love for a lot of things. One of the things is called the Mount San Long durian. Anything with durian, even though he cannot hear, the moment you talk about durian, he can see your mouth and say, it is durian. I don't know whether it's selective hearing or durian just remove 把他的头脑的痣突然间他的耳朵就开窍了，听到那个榴莲，听到那个猫山王，他什么猫啊狗啊全都不见了。所以沈先生 ，durian season over 了。OK， 榴莲季节已经没有了，没有榴莲，你要等明年2022才有榴莲。OK，Thank you。Okay, so now the time, let me see the time. It's 4:06. 4:06. Yeah. Now, okay, why don't we turn on to the look at some of the questions. If not, the video, I can move to the next video by myself about the book launches. Thank you. Okay, well, enjoy first. Yep.
Good afternoon. So my name is James, and I'm from the Singapore Association for the Deaf. So with me, I have an interpreter. Okay, his name is Heiser. So Heiser will be here to voice my presentation for me while I use sign language. So today, what will I be talking about? I'll show you in the next slide. Next slide, please. So today, I will talk about barriers deaf people face. So I'm deaf, right? Okay. So barriers deaf people face and how we can overcome these barriers. Okay, next slide, please. So now, during the COVID period, it's advised to wear masks, right? But most of the masks are covered and cannot be seen through. So deaf persons will not be able to understand properly because facial expression is not in, right? So maybe the smiling and all that. So same for the hard of hearing persons. Okay, they may prefer lip reading, but because of the mask, they are not able to. So, but if they are see-through masks, right, you'll be able to see their facial expressions as well as allow them to lip read. Okay, next slide, please. So at community events, so maybe if there's a person who's presenting, but for the deaf community, then I won't be able to understand. So because maybe there's no interpreters, But at the association, okay, we organize talks, and we have also interpreters there at the events on stage with the presenters themselves to allow deaf persons to be able to understand. Okay, so because the interpreter will be able to help to interpret using sign language and to facilitate understanding of the deaf community. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so hospitals, healthcare. So it's important for the deaf community. So for example, so if a deaf person gets into an accident, right, and they don't know what to do. So perhaps if the ambulance comes and tries to help, but they have difficulty trying to communicate with the deaf person because they may not know sign language. So same like hospital, maybe they may not have staff or personnel that are able to converse in sign language. Okay, so it's a life or death situation for the deaf community. But if the staff in the hospitals are able to converse in sign language, even if it's only basic, then it's okay. So you're able to understand what the deaf person is trying to say or ask, right? So we have medical students from NTU who are at present learning sign language, and I hope that in future, after completing the studies and when they become doctors, they are able to communicate well with the deaf community, right? So they'll be able to better assist the deaf person. Okay, next slide. Okay, accessibility to information. So on TV, so having subtitles or closed captioning in English is good, right? It makes the deaf people very happy. So others, they may not have any subtitles or closed captioning, and then it becomes very difficult for the deaf to enjoy what is watching TV. So all shows, for instance, when all shows provide subtitles, maybe Korean dramas, right? So like Netflix, all the shows on Netflix, they provide options to on subtitles, right? So showing South Korean dramas and other shows, it allows the deaf person to enjoy the shows on Netflix. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, assistive devices. Okay, what do I mean by assistive devices? So deaf persons can't hear, right? If you're using a normal alarm clock, then they won't be able to wake up using normal usual alarm clocks that we use. Okay, but so deaf persons, what they do is they use vibrating alarm clocks, which is placed under the pillows that will vibrate when it's time to wake up. So for me, I do have a vibrating alarm clock, but I purchased them overseas. So if it's not working properly, I need repairing. It's a bit difficult, but now I see that there are some. So the association working to develop more locally produce vibrating alarm clocks. Okay, and this can help make life easier for deaf persons. So not to stress so much about whether we have access to these items. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so what is this picture about? Okay, maybe so as for example, if there's a fire, right? There's a fire alarm. The deaf persons can't hear, correct? But hearing people will be able to tell that there's an emergency or there's an alarm going on, and they will leave as soon as they hear the fire alarm. But deaf people, they can't hear, so they will be wondering what's happening. Why is everyone running around, right? Why is everyone running all over the place? then they feel lost, they're not sure what's happening. Okay, but now at the association, okay, there are visual fire alarms, okay, with so they come with lights. So if there's a so at the association we can see that if there's a alarm, right, then the lights will flicker and it will alert the deaf persons to leave the premises. So the deaf person sees the lights flickering and the visual fire alarm, then they'll know that they have to leave the premise. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, discriminatory practices. So maybe when a deaf goes out to that person goes out to find a job and fill up the application, the company may ask if you have do you have any disabilities. So what does this mean? So a deaf person will indicate that they are deaf, but when the employer reviews the application, then they may ask, oh, you're deaf? Does it mean that you can't talk? So how will you work? Yeah. So deaf person can do work. So deaf person can't hear, but they can still they do they are educated and they can learn, right? So it's the same for us. Yep. So we are also able to work, right? Next slide, please. Okay. Employer misconceptions. So what does this mean is, so like maybe the boss may not be able think that, oh, they may not be able to communicate with that person, or it's hard, right? But it's you can there are other means of communicating like email, text messaging. Okay, these other ways of communicating, correct? Yeah. Okay. Next slide, please. So next is deaf persons may feel isolated at work because the sharing colleagues may not be able to communicate in sign language, or they may not be able to communicate with sharing colleagues. Okay, but the deaf employee may be able to teach their hearing colleagues a bit of sign language so they can learn how to communicate with a deaf person so they can better work together as well as communicate. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so how do deaf persons overcome obstacles or barriers? Okay, so we can empower ourselves. Okay, maybe asking for subtitling or requesting for interpreters so that we know how to understand what's happening. So by having this, we are able to get others to interpret or to have access to information so that we can understand what's happening. Next slide, please. So I want to share with you a final note, and there's this person called Marley Martin. Okay, she's a deaf advocate in the US. So this is so everyone faces obstacles, right? So myself included, we also face obstacles, but we can overcome them, correct? Okay, next slide. So I've finished my presentation, but if you want to know more about the deaf community or deaf culture, you can reach out to me or the association via these channels. So there's WhatsApp, you can email us, we have our website, and you can also reach us via YouTube and Facebook. Okay, thank you for watching my presentation. So I hope you enjoy my presentation and understand a bit more about the deaf community, and so curious about the deaf community. Yep. Thank you.
Anyway, now I do a reverse, whereby Mr. Tan will introduce me in Mandarin and Mr. Sim will introduce me in English. So because of time constraint, 1 minute for Mr. Tan 讲华语 ，Mr. Sim 1 minute 讲华语。OK， start。
现在要介绍这一位是卡特琳公主啊，她是一个Beyond Wow， Beyond 华语怎么讲？
其实是超越喜悦，
超越喜乐的那个创办人。那根据我所知道呢，这个卡特琳公主她是做了保险业，大概是将近要30年吧。然后她因为是先生的关系哈，因为先生得了2次的那个脑膜炎，所以她必须要辞职，然后全力的照顾先生。他们现在育有3名可爱的子女，现在他们就是在写第2集吧，那个书是第2集吧，那个叫做什么？
那个
余生呀，对。
那个应该是第6个 edition 第6版了。
第6版，对不起啊，我没有 update
没事呀。
所以现在是到沈先生了，介绍英语了哈。
OK， 沈先生可以介绍英语，可以。OK， 来。
Okay, introduction myself. So I do a simple one, right? Before my hearing loss and so forth. So before my hearing loss, that was before 2015 November. I normally work in corporate companies and in sales. Intro of me? Oh, you have? Oh, sorry, he's introducing my wife. So, yes. I think my wife, we have been married obviously for 26 years, right? And to bring it a bit back, she has been a sales insurance since she started, and that was about when she was about 21 years old. But because of my hearing loss, she has decided to stop her insurance and to take full care of me. And during that time, after my hearing loss, when she was taking care of me, she decided to write a book. Initially, that was the idea, to write a book, but ended up she managed to write 4 books and launch it within a period of 2 years. At that time, also, she also helped me to claim my insurance. One of the key challenge insurance took us almost 2 years or 2 to 3 years to claim. And finally, she managed to help me also claim the insurance. So all the insurance was claimed due to her effort. And because of the writing of the book, and also because of the insurance claim, which has been very successful, she decided to set up a company called Beyond Wow. The intent and the idea is to help those who had challenges in claiming the insurance, which I think the industry term is called reverse insurance, so that she can help them and advise them to go about claiming that. So that is her, and then of course she is a mother of 3 kids, and thank God they are doing quite okay, and that she is very, very interested in helping the marginalized. I think she has a so-called motto in her life, and that motto I wrote it is that it is this. The motto that she has is that
where there is love, nothing is too much trouble, and there is always time. So that's what she strives to do. She always strives to help others in any way and any time possible. So that is basically my wife.
Yes, thank you. Okay, okay, we are on time, thankfully. Yes, so thankful. Now the time is 4:34, and that is definitely on time. Yes, I'm just 2 minutes late, thank God. Okay, first thing first, those who missed the deadline of 3 p.m. To actually get a book from me, now is the chance, because I will share 15 minutes sharing about 4 unprecedented yet timeless strategies to COVID-proof our lives in any pandemic. So you all listen up. After you listen up, you find my Facebook also got a lot of clues, and I give a lot of clues. And then whoever get the answers will get a book from me. Okay. So that is, yes, those who have kept coming late, take heart, because the key thing is now I'm just sharing something very special in my heart, and the title is 4 unprecedented yet timeless strategies to COVID-proof our lives in any pandemic. Okay, for friends out there, because we have friends who cannot hear, who are friends who are hard of hearing, we have friends from places where English is not their main language. So we have friends like from Indonesia, Vietnam, India, and the Philippines. So I'll make my sharing as simple as possible so that we can add value to each other. And the key thing is the heart of the message, not so much of the words. Okay, talking about COVID-19, not that I'm an expert, we struggled a lot in the last nearly 2 years, at least 1.5 years, about COVID-19. So this is the best time to share with you 4 strategies. Let me start with my first envelope. Okay, you see I'm by nature teacher. Okay, number 1, 这个是1号，看得到吗？ Okay, 1号 number 1. Okay, the first principle. Okay, Mr. Sim 帮我开一下。华语、英语也是没问题。Okay, 第一 the first principle is this. Actually, I'm talking about 4D. 4D 不是叫你去买马票没有的。The first D 是叫做 be discerning. Be discerning， 华语叫做有动感。OK， 有洞察力，看得到吗 ？OK, basically the first principle is discerning. Why discern? Okay, when we discern, that means to say when we look at a situation like COVID, like what happens in my own journey when I wanted to do this event. First thing first, I have a dream. I use a room, 50 person in the room. Then somebody, one of our dear friends said, no, Kat, what if COVID become very jialat? Then I said, jialat, then how? He said, jialat, you must think the plan B. Then I asked him, what is plan B? Plan B is to make sure that you use live streaming. And then he actually gave me options. Then I chose Facebook streaming. So the first D is to be able to discern. If we are in a situation like this, just like early session, I already garner the situation whereby the thing cannot start. So what I do, I turn to my Facebook and turn off the Facebook Live and explain to you all what actually happened. So this is what we call discern the times. Expect the unexpected. And then when the unexpected don't come, then you thank God it never come. Okay, let's talk about Chinese 有洞察力。就是在这个安排这个分享会的时候，我是想，我有一个梦想，就是说40-50个人在一个聚会这样分享这个做这个分享会。有个朋友就问我说，如果这个病情这个疫情比较严重性，你怎么办？我说不懂他讲说你要 plan， 你要计划 B。结果他就跟我分享，你要用这种 Facebook 的这个平台在分享，就是说如果真的是每个人都被 lockdown 锁住了 MCO Malaysia 的 MCO， 我们可以继续的分享。但是我们现在是在 Regis 这个房间里面最多可以有5个人，因为这个是他们讲说 safe distancing 1米差。结果因为我这个朋友的智慧，我接受了这个 分享，接受了这个 Plan B， 现在我们可以在这个美丽的地方啊，这个悠闲的地方来分享这个第一个principle 就是有洞察力。OK， 这个是 E 啊 ，OK，listen 啊，这个是华文是有洞察力，英文是 B for be discerning， 这个是第一个第一季啊，就是第二个，然后给帮我拍一下。第二个的 D 啊 ，the second D is called be delightful。be delightful in Chinese 啊，就是喜悦他人，喜悦自己。当我们在喜悦他人的当儿，我们无形中就喜悦了自己。就是我们在做什么东西都好，要有那个有心去感觉蒙福蒙恩的感觉，就是把你的快乐，带给别人，结果你觉得你的快乐变成你的喜乐就越来越多。但是如果好像你分享的时候，你会觉得你更喜乐，或者是你帮忙穷苦的人，你会觉得你很喜乐，因为这个就是说喜乐的那个特别。So in English, be delightful. How to be delightful? I give you an example. Mr. Radu of St. Regis. Mr. Radu of St. Regis, I said I need a venue. Mr. Radu said, Madam Chu, Madam Chu, let me think about it, see how I can help. So I met Mr. Radu. Mr. Radu made time for me. And in the end, he went back. He looked at the thing, he said, I want to help. He wants to be a blessing to me. And when he replied and said that he could find a place and give me a very, very good rate because I'm working with people with disability. Because my sharing is about inclusivity, inclusive people with sharing issue, inclusive people with loss of limbs. Mr. Radu, in delighting people like myself, the guests, I also been delighted, also share the blessing. So when I write on reviews, from the bottom of my heart, he was delighted and I was delighted. So this way of delighting is to basically share the joy. When joy is shared, joy is doubled. So that is the beauty of being delightful. Okay, second principle, be delightful. Chinese 你可以用喜悦他人，喜悦自己。第二个 ，Thank you. And the third principle to COVID-proof our lives. This one is very exciting. It's called be decisive. Be decisive 华文叫做 basically 破釜沉舟，就是要做什么东西叫干净利落、果断。Okay, I speak English. For men, men are very good decisive. Women, we go to shopping, want to buy this, want to buy that, everything want to buy. Men, you go to the gents, one shirt, they come out. So must learn from men how to be decisive, especially shopping. So being decisive is to realize, like for example, when I look at this event, I said, should I proceed or should I not proceed? Then I'll say, if I have plan B, whereby if the COVID situation worsen, I will still make it. So what I do, I say, yes, I will reduce St. Regis. So that is the power of decisiveness. OK, 华文的话就是说，本来我在想，如果要做这个 Facebook Live Stream 的一个平台，我不可能犹豫啦，一直想东想西啦，一直烦恼啦。最重要的就是说，你要做就做美美，你想要做就干净利落，要做就做。所以我打个电话给 Mr. Tan，Mr. Tan， 你方不方便分享 ？Mr. Tan， 哇，更厉害，没问题，我没问题，就跟你讲。那我就找 Mr. Sin，Mr. Sin 就老婆 ，everything I do it for you，OK 就没有问题了啦。他是 do it for me 啦，他不会 do it for himself 的啦，所以结果他讲说 OK， 老婆叫什么我就 OK 啦，忠烈牺牲的。所以那个 Mr. Tan 讲没问题不是很难的东西我就做。所以我这身边就有些人干净利落，真的是很果断。结果这个分享会就这样的诞生了。这个就是 OK。那么3be decisive， 破釜沉舟，干净利落最重要。Last but not least, Mr. Sim, 第四。Last but not least, the 4D 不是叫你买 4D Excuse me， 你在说什么 Okay, the fourth D is be daring. 华文叫什么 ？Excuse me， I cannot。有冒险精神，勇敢追求梦想。OK， 为什么叫 the last D is called be daring？ 为什么 daring 呢？就是在当你已经 when you decide to make a decision, then you dare to move forward, even though it's not comfortable. Of course, I'm not comfortable. How to comfortable in front of Facebook live stream? You think I'm very comfortable? I am very uncomfortable. Then I make Mr. Sim very uncomfortable. Then I make Mr. Tan uncomfortable. Then Mrs. Tan also very uncomfortable. So four uncomfortable people come together and make each other very comfortable. So the thing is, because we decide, then I say 不用紧啊，冲山啊，哎呀冲啦。So Mr. Tan 就说没问题啦，反正呢我们就冲落去就对。Mr. Sim just now say, wife, what do you think? Stress or not? I say not stress. Mr. Sim said, what if there are only 5 people? I say 5 people. 5 people, what's the problem? My husband is managing my thing. What if only 5 people, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us here? I said, if there's 5 people, then 5 people, what's the problem? So Mr. Sim looked at me. Wow, he catch the enthusiasm from me. Live, die, also follow. Why? That's everything I do it for you. No, you say to me. And then 讲华语。OK， 有冒险精神，勇敢追求梦想。OK， 其实，在3年前我的新书分享会的时候，华语的分享会，在1月28号2018年的时候，我就看到这，我就有这个，我就看到陈慧文先生，我会看到我老公，我说这2个花子好像有一个共同点就是说他们2个都是吃鱼生而相聚的。我说哇，一个的华语讲到噼里啪啦很厉害的，另外一个讲英语讲到噼里啪啦很厉害。我说一个流利英语，一个流利华语，这2个朋友，这2个男人为什么会同时会碰到？就是那个余生的缘分。结果呢，我就想说 ，OK， 我的梦想就是把这2个男孩子放在一个一样的平台。这个是2018，今年是2021，我的梦想就出现了，就是这个现在，因为我敢于接受这个挑战，有冒险的精神，我追求这个不是很大的梦，但是今天我站在这边就是梦想成真，给这是余生。这总的来说OK，in conclusion，OK，clue OK， 4、3、2、1 OK。Number 1, D for be discerning. Chinese is called 有洞察力。Number 1, thank you. Number 2, 2就是 be delightful. 喜悦他人，喜悦自己。That's be delightful. Second D, Okay, thank you. The next, Number 3 is be decisive. 什么呢？破釜沉舟，就是说你能做事果断、干净利落。Last but not least, yes, the key thing is be daring, dare to dream and dare to dream big. And this is what I call 有冒险精神，勇敢追求我们的梦想。这个就是我的分享。所以 ，OK, English first. I need 3 people to tell me what are the 3 people. I just need to catch the 3 people who is able to write the 4 Ds of my sharing. OK， 现在讲华语我需要三个辩护的朋友讲这到底这四大的那个4大的计划是什么？就是说你不用讲全部，因为华文很复杂你打底有知道，你可以写有洞察力，喜悦他人，喜悦自己。破釜沉舟，你可以写其中的一个成语就可以了。第4个你可以写勇于追求梦想。华语很复杂，英文的很容易就是说英文的有3个会拿到 一份我的书，我的第6的 edition 的。Then those who use the first 3 that answer this answer, they will get 3 prizes, 3 for the Chinese, 3 for the English. Okay, the thing starts now. Okay, I give 2 minutes. You can turn on some music like a video. Which video? We are towards the end of the session, so thank you for keeping me entertained 谢谢你们的鼓励。现在就是说，因为我在做那个 SG56 还是 6th edition of 这本书 ，this book from raw milk to real deal. Okay, yeah. So okay, this one my books are coming out. Will be printed by our late minister mentor, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew's 98th birthday, if he's still living today. So as a result, I am packaging this as a $98. The $98, it should be LKY's. Actually, it's LKY's birthday package, not because of anything, but I think our minister, late Minister Lee Kuan Yew, has the face of how he turned a setback into a comeback, especially when we remember him on our National Day. So he is really a face of turning setback to comeback. So as a result, I am actually doing a SG56 or what called LKY birthday promo at $8, which includes 4 raw books, SG56 edition, plus $10 e-voucher for, you can use it for the next book or the next event or the next program next year for some training. And then every book, I only add flat $2 for any purchase. So end up the whole package is actually $100 with postage. So it make it easier. So this is, I'm not here to sell anything. Whoever wants to just come back to me or come back to my Facebook or private message me and I see how I can help. I'm here to encourage, not to sell book, but you find that the book will add value to your friends, that you want to bless them before this year's so-called Christmas, you can go ahead. But most important thing is I hope that you all been blessed. The other thing is that, okay, this is the book thing. So just a bit of logistics. Those people who came in the Facebook before 3 p.m. to this afternoon, please drop me a private message to give your name, which country you're from, and I'll try to reach out to you concerning the book when my book will be available middle of September. Okay, last but not least, after keeping you all here, I am coming up with a insurance sharing， 就是说分享保险的一些新生就是说在今年11月28号November 28 at 2:48 I'm arranging it so that I can share about the secrets of, as what my husband mentioned, how I in 3 years 2015, 2016, 2017 while writing the book I struggled to claim every single policies that he has. And especially in the area that my colleagues from Prudential and other insurance companies, they were amazed that I could actually got the claim. So I just want to share with the public or even insurance agent how the secrets of successful insurance claim review, not in the book, but in a very personal sharing. So if you are willing, I cannot, this package, because of the cost of using the place, I'm actually selling it at $68 per pax. So those people who cannot make it because of this event, you just offset the $48 that you paid. You just pay top up $20. That's all you need, and you'll be in November. But in the event COVID situation hits again, and I cannot go into this sort of face-to-face, I will do Facebook live streaming, but I will not charge any single cent. To me, I will use the Facebook platform. I will consider it free. So that is the thing. So that is towards the end. So anybody got any burning questions or anybody come back in any answers, just let me know. Yeah. Okay. So who are there? Thank you. I must thank those few friends of mine.
Sasha, Cecilia, and
Oh, I see. Wow. So at least I got Cecilia, I got Chris, Chow. Yes. Yeah, that's good. So, who else? Okay, so this appreciate our. Yes, Sasha also have Sasha, because for my sister I don't have. So anyway, some of y'all I have seen y'all on the Facebook. Some of y'all are my personal friends. So I reach out to y'all, and thank you for joining, and appreciate that. Now the time is yes, before 5 p.m. And now y'all can stay at home, but for us we'll hotel suite hotel 了哈。OK， 我们就回去我们的酒店了，因为the day is very long. So yeah, so now it's 4:58, and we will bye bye to you and appreciate that. My name is Kathy, and we have got Mr. Sim Tan Chun here, my husband. Bye. Bye bye. Yeah. Mr. Tan.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Mr. Tan, Mrs. Tan. And then you have now photographer, Mr.
Photographer.
Ozzy, yes. And I have a capable admin, Jennifer. Last but not least, the one who's holding the notebook, Mr. Sim Tan Chun. Okay, appreciate that. I'm thankful that we finished by 4:58. That's before 5 even. Okay, bye. See you again. Bye. Okay, bye. Thank you.